Hello, hello, and welcome to the Vinyl Vault. My name is Tony,
And I'm Parker.
and today we're talking about our greatest and best and top
and most musical.
and albums.
It's a year. I was thinking about this morning. We do album reviews every week, and now we're doing a end of year review of our album reviews of the albums.
We're so vain.
That's Carly Simon, right? I don't know who the song. The rumor goes that the song is
You're So
about.
Vain.
I think it's either about James Taylor or somebody else.
Yeah, it is about a celebrity, as I
Yeah.
recall. Yeah,
It's a great song.
it's the end of the year,
the end
and
of
we
the year.
decided that we would talk about all the albums that we have discussed throughout 2025 and come up with our top 5.
Because this started out, at our jobs, they were like, we want to, kind of embrace our digital content, our digital library. And they told us, they said, find something passionate or find something that you're passionate about. And, I went to you and we talked about this. And because I just want the world to know that this was originally, before we made it fun, it was going to be just me talking about music, and I think that would have been very boring for the audience. And I appreciate you helping, bringing your personality to this and making it what it's become. I think it's been a very enjoyable podcast or video cast. We made this a thing to challenge ourselves, to try new things, listen to new things, embrace different genres. You'll see that in my list. And, I think that's the thing that I've taken most from this is that we've had some really fun moments. We've had some really, we've been doing this for nearly 9 months now. And I'm glad to be doing it with you.
Yeah, I really appreciate you asking me to do this, as it was a surprise, as we were, co-workers, but I would say throughout the time spent here, we became better friends, getting to know each other really, really well, and each other's tastes in music and just in general. And so it's been a really fun experience, just getting to know what you're into, and just the terrible, terrible choices that you've made in your life.
We're still trying to figure out what went wrong.
But that being said, it's also been a really fun experience of just more or less forcing yourself to listen to new music or just music you haven't listened to in a long time. And not only that, even going further into the music that, you may only know one or two singles or hits from an artist, but now you're diving, into a lot of their other works and, discovering that, hey, maybe you like even more songs, or in your case, now you, Parker, you absolutely hate Queen. So
I knew that was coming. It wasn't a matter of if, but when. I was sitting there, I'm like, how is he going to do the whole Queen thing? But no, it's important that people get out there and try something new. They don't have to, you don't have to love it, but try it, and that's certainly what we've done with this. We've been able to, bring up old memories. There's a lot of nostalgia that comes with some of the music that we pick and just stuff like that. But Tony, you mentioned that we've had, how many albums have we looked at?
So I believe we've looked at 30, but between you and I, we've looked at 29 because, as we recall, with Def Leppard, we looked at 2 different albums. So
I'm gonna go ahead and round it up to 30. I think 30 is a good strong number.
So I did find 30 albums, and actually here's a close up of said albums.
That's a
that
lot of
we've looked at.
albums.
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. We've gone through a lot of variety, and it's been fun. I'm glad to say that I've been able to at least find one song in each album that I enjoyed.
I can't say
some
the
point.
same.
Okay.
But what makes me happy is knowing that you said that with Nickelback on this screen. So you have to admit that you like Nickelback.
Oh, I see how we're turning it around.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
People are gonna watch this and be like, I don't know much about Tony, but I know he loves Nickelback. Very passionate about that. But no, we challenged ourselves to try to come up with 5 that we like the most, and that inherently that in it lies itself the challenge of finding 5.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, people at home, we are picking these albums. We're picking albums that we like in general and are presenting them to each host. So automatically there's 15 albums that each of us already like to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to nail it down to 5. And so I did not pick 5. I picked 6. And I have 2 honorable mentions.
Okay. Did you also choose albums that you didn't like?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Just make sure we did that.
I have 2 albums I didn't like and one thing that you said this year that has bothered me.
Okay.
And it's gonna be it's gonna be Tony Wynn's coldest take of 2025.
Okay. Do you want to start with that? Because that sounds really intriguing.
Okay, I mean, if you want.
Well, let's start with our least favorite.
Okay.
Favorites, and then that way we can go to our favorite.
And I wanted to make it fair. I purposely picked an album that I chose that was my least favorite, and I picked an album that you chose that was my least favorite because I didn't want it to be like all of my albums are great, Tony's are bad. They are, but like it's beside the point. I picked "Crying Time" by Ray Charles and the Ben Folds 5 album that you picked out.
Okay.
I believe it was "Rockin' the Suburbs," right?
Yes.
I picked Ray Charles's album because, granted, Ray Charles is an excellent musician and has a great discography, and obviously his reputation precedes him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that album has a really good historical significance. It doesn't have a good Parker significance.
Okay.
It's got some good songs in it, but like again, I'm not getting in the car and being like, hey, put on "Crying Time."
Yeah.
And then same with the Ben Folds 5 album. We have a former coworker, Chris Edson, who I think he loves Ben Folds.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me.
Not for
me. I mean, I appreciate the music, and there is a nostalgia factor with it because, like, when in that episode, I went on this very long tangent about Over the Hedge and its cultural impact in me as growing up.
Yeah.
Doesn't get it over the hump. Okay. But those are the 2 that I think were probably my least favorite. Not that they're bad albums.
Yeah.
But when you're stacked up against Tupac and Def Leppard and obviously Michael McDonald and Wham. Obviously. Doy, and then I think your worst take of the year.
Mm-hmm.
In this, actually, it's kind of a curveball because it has nothing to do with the albums that we reviewed. It's just a take that you said that angered me. It angered me.
Please.
And it was you having Perry Mason as your number 1 Ozzy Osbourne song. Folks, for many who may not remember this, when Ozzy Osbourne passed, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
We had an emergency podcast, and we ranked our top 5 Sabbath songs and top 10 Ozzy songs. And this guy over here, this joker, look at him. Everybody look at him. He had the gall to get on the internet, where everything's forever, and tell the world that Perry Mason was the best Ozzy Osbourne song.
Look at that. Even the camera knows to zoom in.
Yeah, it was a bad take. It's not his best song. It's not even a top 5 Ozzy Osbourne song, and I'll go to my grave with that. Perry Mason is not a top Ozzy Osbourne song, and you should be tarred and feathered for that. It's just not a good take. And this is coming from a guy that picked Nickelback and enjoys Nickelback.
Yeah.
So you already know my ears are skewed. And for me to listen to, I listened to Perry Mason. I went home that night and I was like, maybe Tony's onto something. Tony's never strayed me wrong before.
Yeah.
Maybe he's onto something. No.
Still doesn't do it for you.
No. It's
crazy to me.
If you that song compared to the rest of his music and picking it, bad take. I don't even want to try to think of an analogy that doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if we were in Billy Madison and your new boots, Ted, were all of Ozzy's songs, and Perry Mason is the flaming bag of dog poo.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna, don't put it out with your new boots, Ted.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bad analogy. This is the wheels are falling off.
I'm just telling you now that
Everyone who's listening to this is going, what the hell is he talking about?
I'm going to tell you to shut your mouth, devil woman, and to mind your business.
I'm just saying it's not a good song. I'll rephrase it. It's not that it's not a good song. It should never be considered his best song.
Fair. I will at least admit that that was very much a nostalgic pick, and just it's still personal to me because that, for whatever reason, it's the riff, it's the song, everything about it. It's just like the music that I like, and maybe it's because it's one of the earliest that I had heard Ozzy, and maybe wanting music to always sound like that it holds that grip onto me. But I would still say that in my list, I would still go to Perry Mason.
You know what we're gonna leave in 2025? We're gonna leave this comedy trope that we have, where every time I rag on something,
Yeah.
you're always like, "That was the song my grandmother used to sing to me in the crib," and I'm like, I can't say anything bad about it because it has such an emotional connection. We're gonna
Yeah.
leave that in 2025. My New Year's resolution is to not feel guilty about talking bad about these songs, regardless.
It should just be straight from the heart, just straight from how you're feeling. If this makes you feel like it is, it's nothing else but a song about a TV lawyer, and you hate everything about it, then so be it.
It's just I can't tell you how many times I've been like, yeah, this song sucks, and you're like, this song got me through like the worst time of my life, and I'm like, because like I interpret that as I'm making light of your bad situation.
No,
You
no,
know.
you're referring to the song, and it's all subjective. It won't hit. The thing is, when you get older, you will listen.
I'm not
to the
old
same
enough
song.
already?
No, you never will be. That's
I'm
that's
the youngest
real
I'll ever
problem
be
around
and the
here.
oldest I've ever been.
Yeah. You will listen to the same song, and depending on what's going on in your life, it could change completely. And that's just the beauty of music and art in general, is that it just different phases of your moods and your times. A song can just mean so much. It's so individualized that's the case, that you'll listen to Perry Mason whenever you're older, and you'll associate it with your buddy Tony.
I don't know if I want to do that. Well, I was about to be like, yeah, there's beauty in music, but there's no beauty in Perry Mason. Would you rather live in a world without movies or without music?
That's tough, but I'd say music is a lot more. I don't know. There's something more like visceral about it. There's something
true.
more.
The
Just-
last time I enjoyed a film, and I mean, there's movies that I like, I'll watch it. Like I watched one Battle After Another this weekend. I mean, I'll watch it one time in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, but like I remember Brady and my friend Brady, we went to go see Oppenheimer at like 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. And I'm telling you, it was probably 12:30 in the morning when, the movie's getting into the thick of it. And I actually sat on the edge of my seat. I leaned forward, and it's probably the first time in years I'd done that. I get that feeling with music all the time. It's
Yeah.
rare when I have that moment with a movie.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because you,
Hate Queen.
because it's so internalized,
Yeah.
less senses, so it's firing your inner eye, of whatever you're picturing as you're listening to the music.
Yeah.
Opposed to it's literally showing you what on
And
screen,
songs
what
have
it is.
emotional attachments too. Like if you're
Yeah.
going through a hard time and you listen to a song, that song always takes you back, but it doesn't hurt as much when you revisit it. That makes sense. So for example, I had a buddy, his name was Tim. He had passed when I was in high school, and they played The Prayer at his funeral. And that's the song, but it's one of those classic songs. And God, what's his name? The blind opera singer. I almost said Mario Andretti, but that's a race car driver. Bocelli. Him and Celine Dion did a version. Josh Groban has a version, and I know that song from my childhood. That song had an emotional impact on me in that moment because I had just lost my friend.
Yeah.
But now I hear this song and I remember that moment, but I no longer feel the pain. But I'm
Yeah.
always taken back to that moment.
Sure.
And I feel like that's a lot of the case with, nobody's ever put on a movie and been like, hey, remember that time you went through that bad breakup and we watched Gremlins 2, the new batch, and it like helped you get through it,
I mean, it just could be that you and I we just connect more to it.
True.
I mean, I can say that there has been films that have hit that mark that you're talking about before, but I just find it a lot more often in music than I
That's
do
true.
in movies and TV. So
But let me ask you this. What were your least favorite picks?
I too wanted to make sure that it was fair, that it wasn't all mine were all the best and then the top and the bottom. But that being said,
Thank you for lying.
with that being said, I did have I rated every single album and put it in ChatGPT to just organize it by said ratings, and I did find that on my very bottom was All the Right Reasons with Nickelback.
It's so wrong. it's just like how go on.
That album matches If That's What It Takes by Michael McDonald and Make It Big Wham. Those
So you tried to make it fair.
I tried to make
you
it
tried to
fair
make
as
it fair,
possible.
but AI decided that you were superior.
Yes, that is exactly what it said. The next two was Rockin' the Suburbs, Ben Folds, and License to Ill, Beastie Boys.
Yeah, I was gonna. The Beastie Boys were a pretty good contender for the worst, but I was like, I at least enjoy kick it, whereas like I've never been like, hey, put on Ben Folds. Let's rock out to Ben Folds.
And I have, and that's the thing, is that I've yet to. I did not revisit Wham. I refused to revisit Nickelback, and I listened to Michael.
I'm noticing that they all happen to just be on the bottom row of this little grid that you put together.
I think the way, I think I went through my list just to make sure that way. So it is kind of like that.
It just seems super coincidental,
And then Michael McDonald, I mean, I told you on our episode that I went in, listened to the album like 5 or 6 times, and tried to.
You really tried to like it.
Yeah, and that's
I
probably the
appreciate
hardest. That honestly was the hardest I ever had to try to like music.
Just. How do I please you?
Yeah, and like I said, there's at least one song in each of those albums that I was like,
We
okay.
will dabble in more yacht rock in 2026,
And I'm all for it,
And
man.
I
Like,
we
I'm
will
not
we
against
will
it.
we will establish Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins. We'll bring back the Doobie Brothers. I just Michael McDonald. I had searched Time Low for that album, and whenever I finally got it, I was like, we have to talk about this album.
Sure, yeah.
Obviously, very wrong. I apologize to our viewers. You should, if anything, you should take from this podcast is you should listen to those specific 3 albums.
If you want to add to the
Any
seasonal
any hot takes I had this
depression.
year that you didn't like,
any hot takes?
other than you hated Shot in the Dark?
Not really. I see where you come from whenever you explain why you're choosing said stuff. I was really surprised by Ben Folds because I thought because he is a little more tongue-in-cheek, a little more funny, that you might appreciate that. But that just might be a direction you don't like to go in terms of music.
I'll put it this way. If I'm in the car and someone turns on Ben Folds, I'm not going to tell him to turn it off. I'm not going to tell him to skip it. I will listen to it.
Yeah,
I may even do like a in the car,
yeah,
but it's like it's not something Parker will pick.
sure.
And Parker always refers to himself in third person.
And I think the it's also competing against all the other albums.
Yeah,
So it's not like surely it's not like the very, very
For
bottom.
Mr. Folds to be included in this list speaks volumes.
Yeah.
But no, I want to get into, so the honorable mention, I picked 6 albums that I think are the best, and I want to be very clear that I actually did not rank these 6.
Okay.
I just picked the 6 best.
Okay.
You're asking me to, like, if you asked me to rank these, we're splitting hairs.
Okay.
But honorable mention, Nickelback. And that's all the right reasons. And then I had Dirt by Alice in Chains. I feel like those are 2. I'm not the most like rock focused guy, but I feel like those are 2 albums that really brought me back towards the rock sphere, the harder rock sphere. Too much for Metallica, it scares me, but brought me back a little bit.
Okay.
But my top 6, I have, again, no order, no ranking system, just the top 6. I have Thriller, If That's What It Takes, Asia, Random Access Memories, Led Zeppelin 4, and Dark Side of the Moon. I personally think you picking Random Access Memories was your best pick this year. I freaking love that album.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. And
I
you hadn't heard it.
So I'm really glad you like that.
And I don't remember, you hadn't heard it before.
I had not. I had heard Get Lucky like when I was in middle school.
Right, because you had the Tron album.
Freaking love Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Tron Legacy, right? It's Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy.
It's a great album. Great soundtrack. And then I for some reason never went to dabble into Daft Punk more. I mean, I was familiar with the Pentatonix cover that they did, the Daft Punk medley, but that was the extent of my knowledge.
Sure. Nice.
I think those are pound for pound the best albums front to back. And it killed me. I was like, what about Shania? What about Tony? What about, I see Earth, Wind and Fire, Boyz II Men. We had a good problem.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out the
absolutely.
best.
Absolutely. Did you revisit any of those after the
So the only ones that I have, I'll be completely honest. The only ones that I have listened to at any moment in time since we've talked about them are probably Thriller, Van Halen, Supertramp, Chicago, Asia, that whole bottom row. I would say the only ones that I'll put it this way. The only ones I haven't touched since we talked about them are Crying Time, Metallica, and then Ben Folds.
Okay.
Those are pretty much the only 3 that I haven't listened to a singular song from since we discussed them.
Very well. Very well. All right. Well, then I will do a top 6 as well since I have it all here.
Now it's time for Tony's wrong list.
Okay. Number 1. Number 1, Belladonna, Stevie Nicks. Number 2.
That was your best one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You're welcome.
That threw me. Oh my God.
Yeah, I really, really like that album. I don't
Really?
I don't recall how I rated it during our episode, but I went back to it and listened to it again and was just like, okay, I love this album. And I just kept listening to it.
Really?
Yeah. I think in our 9 months.
That was our second album.
Yeah. I went back probably 3 more times. Or just like I gotta listen to it again. I just want to hear the songs again. And sometimes it would just be like just this single, but then I'll just go through the album and just let it play.
When we discussed it, we were down in the newsroom. We weren't even in the other studio, and then here. And so, and that was when we, because that's the one with Don Henley. That's the one with Tom Petty, Edge of 17.
Yeah,
one of the best solo albums. Branching off from a band, I would say, but wow, that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, that's my number 1.
I did not think you were gonna go Stevie Nicks.
I guess I was surprised as well, but there was just something about Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks that I was just in the mood for, and we need
to do Rumors next. Next year.
I agree. Yeah, I will say that I then started listening to Rumors as well, and then was like, all right, these are really, really solid albums. So And obviously out of the list, Belladonna's number one. Number two was Daft Punk. Three, Master of Puppets. Four, Hotel California. Five was Thriller, and six is Alice in Chains. And then honorable mentions was Boyz II Men and Linkin Park.
I will say, I think that makes sense now why they're in order. Why Belladonna's in the top left.
Oh yeah, it is. So you can kind of see.
So
it right
I'm looking at your rankings.
Yeah, technically you're in a way
minus Eminem and
I
whatever
think
is in the bottom right.
Eminem
corner.
and AC/DC, they're I think more towards kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine you wouldn't put those two at the very bottom. No. Yeah, I mean, if I look at it, if anything, aside from Stevie Nicks surprising me, probably the Eagles.
Oh,
just because you like rock music,
yeah.
but like I didn't really consider you like a '70s rock kind of guy.
I honestly, melody is a big part of it, and that's crazy to say when I Metallica's my biggest right, like,
yeah, that would be.
But I mean, I also metal in general is riff focused, and not so much singer focused. I mean, the Eagles do all, and honestly, Stevie Nicks, it's just her voice that really does it, and her choices and melody that like it's just great songwriting.
Yeah, we definitely need to do the Rumors album, and we needed to get into the Silver Springs lore.
Okay,
are you familiar with the Silver Springs lore?
No, not at all.
Oh, buddy.
Okay,
get ready to learn drama.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Thriller's a great one, and that's one of the reasons that. Aside from my obvious correct stance that Thriller is a Halloween song and should only be played during Halloween, it's a 9-track album with 8 bangers.
Yeah.
And you rarely see an album with 88% just fire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, and I think these are all. I think we've had a successful 25 in terms of looking at good music. And not even just because, you look at, Dark Side of the Moon. That's an album that, everybody's familiar with. People have, tapestries of that album cover in their dorms. And then you have like the Commodores in the Pocket, or you have like, Thriller, and then you match it with, Tony Braxton. I think we're doing a good job of not just looking at what were the most commercially successful albums, but also what are albums that mean something to us. But also maybe people haven't discovered too much of yet, because I don't listen. I will say this. I have been challenged musically this year because of this podcast to listen to things like Perry Mason.
Yeah.
I object.
Well, maybe we just
move
need
to strike.
We just need somebody to do a cover of it, and maybe that will be. Then you'll get it.
If Michael McDonald did a cover of Perry Mason, I might listen to it.
Okay.
Perry Mason.
And then I might go the opposite direction. Like, that song sucks.
Oh man. All right. Well,
yeah, that was
I don't know. You got any final thoughts?
I don't. I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me into this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was always something that I would look forward to every week, of just like, sweet, I get to listen to more music. And it helped me and my band making music too. Yeah, like just like, oh, that's a great idea for a song, chord progression or just melody and stuff like that. Like, it's helped me quite a bit. And just exposing yourself to more music is never a bad thing. So
when does your album come out?
So we were hoping to try to get it in by tomorrow, but that is not the case, as we're having a little bit of issues with just some of the sounds. So 2026 for sure, very, very early January. So yeah, I'm sure by the time we're back, and we haven't really discussed our schedules and whatnot, but definitely January 2026, I'll be dropping my album.
Well, I'll say this, and I know you'll agree with me. We also think the people that listen to us talk about the music that we listen to, and we don't have, the largest audience in the world, but we do have, I believe, an audience, and so we appreciate you guys listening to us, and hopefully, listening to the albums that we talk about, and As always, we welcome feedback, on social media. So like, let us know, were there any albums that we talked about that you thought were some of the best ones, and maybe they didn't make our cut, but they made yours.
Yeah.
We thrive on that feedback on social media, and we want to hear from you guys. And I've already been making a list about what I want to do for 2026. I get the first pick. I'm very excited about it. It's a band you've never heard of. And like I said, it's get ready to learn marimba. Because it's gonna be great. But I will tell you about that. Let's see. I will be back on the 1st, so we may have to do this the first full week of January and let the new year pass. But I'll let you know that week. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, I was going to say I am not back. I'm officially off tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Tonymas. Yeah, I won't be back until January anyway. So yeah, sounds like a plan. Just let me know.
All right. We'll be back with more albums. We'll have about probably 52 albums for 2026.
Yeah.
So we'll be excited about that. And
that's
as
a lot of
always,
albums. That's a lot of music.
That's a lot of music.
Yeah.
And so as always, I'm Parker.
I'm Tony.
We got to work on that ending.
We'll see you in 2026.
Thanks.